I'm Trado, and this is my Reverb Mythic Shadow Priest guide commentary video thingy. And yeah, I'll be going through what I did, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, things I did right and wrong and stuff. But yeah, let's start out with the talents. This is one of the 3 fights in the raid where you're going to be playing Archon. But for the class talents, nothing special. There's no utility that's useful for anything. For the DPS talents, this was the build people played at the time. Since then, we found a better build, which is dropping Tormented Spirits and Yogg to pick up Death Speaker and Screams and Mastermind. I think it's also Pathogen that gets dropped. It's in the Priest Discord somewhere. But basically, you want your Shadow Crash Archon setup. And you have no real choices in the actual Archon tree itself. On the gear side, also nothing special, just equip your good items. There's no special value you get out of anything in particular. It might be a long enough fight where playing Eye of Kazan is worth it, but that just depends how your guild's DPS looks. Then I have a plan for the cooldowns, because this fight has one small little wrinkle. It's not quite CDs on CD. The reason being you have this 25-ish second intermission where there's no point pressing anything because the boss is effectively immune. But yeah, on pull, press everything. Then the little wrinkle is your halos. You use those for the second set of fireworks in each phase. So that's going to be at a minute and 20 or so into the phase each time. Minute 22 is what I have here. Because that way you have the halo itself going, you have the MFI stacks, and you have the debuff from the halo all going on the barrels. And this boss dies when you kill the barrels. Like, the boss DPS isn't really relevant. What matters is killing the barrels, especially the kind of annoying ones that spawn out of melee. So yeah, you press your halo at like 120 something, and then after each intermission, you basically do the same thing again. You press everything at the start, because the first set of barrels is going to evaporate to people still having CDs running. And then the second set, that's where you hold Halo for, and then the third set is the one that's slightly annoying and cringe, where nobody really has anything, but it is what it is, you deal with it. And then you do the same thing again in the last one, where you have a potion bag again, and you have Shadow Fiend, which you hold because you only ever get 2 of them anyway, realistically. Maybe you get a third one over here, and in that case it would be correct to just press it on CD, but it doesn't matter, the button sucks. So, let's look at the actual boss. You want to start out on whatever marker it is you have ranged baiting on, and then you press all of your buttons. Nothing special happens here, really. One thing to note, I guess, is that the amplifier baits lock in slightly earlier than the timer says. So you want to make sure you are actually in the range stack a little bit ahead of time. Yeah, here you can see the barrel spawn. These 2 are going to get blown up by melee. These 2 are ranged's main job. But this is the first set, so I don't really bother targeting them. I just dot them and go back to the boss. The technically correct play would be to mind flay basically from the furthest away towards the boss. So the one that was here, then this one, and then back to the boss. With the debuffs, you can see here the amplifier got baited a bit poorly, and we're meant to go in and break it. I mess up and don't, I think. Yeah, I'm too late. But you're meant to walk in, stack up with the other guy with the blue circle, break the shield, and then your third tank can do all of the actual soaking of the things. You want to also try to help soak the beam if you are high on health. If you are below like 75% when it hits, you will get MC'd, which is not great. So if you're not full health, don't soak it. And then here on this set, again, I'm apparently being an idiot, just hitting the boss and cleaving the ads. I should have been hitting the further out ones. Here you can see me doing the break correctly. Walk in, break the thing, walk back to the bait spot. And then you can see I didn't get on the pyrotechnics very early because I was doing the pop. But this time I'm actually helping on one that spawned in a really shit spot all the way across the room. Then in the intermission, there's no reason for you to really do anything. You can maintain your dots on the boss, obviously. You can press buttons to generate insanity. You can even press some devouring plagues for mindful insanity stacks. But realistically, nothing matters. You just walk into the circles, don't get hit by the discs, and then when the phase ends, you can go back into your CDs. In theory, I could have already started Halo and gone into CDs because the immunity drops during the last ring, but it's a very small optimization at best. And then I cancelled my Void Torrent because I'm bad, and walked back to the bait spot because I thought we were already baiting, even though it's a few seconds off. Then here you can see again, crash the biggest cluster, dot the furthest one away, and then if you're a good boy, you actually directly target the barrels. But on the first set, it might not be necessary each phase, because again, everybody has CDs running. And especially if they all spawn stacked on the boss, there isn't really any point, because when they're all stacked with all the melees popping their blender, you will not do much damage to them either way. And you can see me and the lizard breaking another pylon. And the reason none of us are really soaking is because this guy, our prot paladin third tank, is handling it for us. So the rest of us don't need to bother, and we can just focus on killing barrels and killing the boss. Here again, we have some very awkward barrels, so dot the close ones, or yeah, crash the close ones, manually dot the far ones, press Halo just as they spawn, and then help out on the really annoying ones, make sure they die, which I don't, because again, I was apparently dumb on our first kill. And then we have another set where 3 spawn in melee, 1 spawns out, so it's another very easy one. But this is the third set where nobody really has any buttons. So that's the most important one to help out with directly targeting. And the order the amplifiers get popped in is highest energy to lowest. So you can, in theory, if you pay attention, you can know which order they're going to pop in. Maybe a raid leader calls it, maybe not. It doesn't really matter, because unless they were spawned criminally poorly, you can reach all of them either way. And you can see this is the third set of CDs. I have my pot back, and we are blasting. And this is a decent set of barrels. They can move the boss, so there's 3 that are in the melee blender, and then there's only 1 that's slightly out. And I'm, again, hitting the boss because we are mostly in CDs here, so it doesn't require me to directly target. And then we get the extra pylon here, which gets baited very poorly, which me and whoever the other guy is should be breaking, but I'm late again because I'm small-brained. And sometimes the beam also just bugs out and mind controls people for no reason. Like you saw, I was full health basically the entire time. There was no reason it should have done anything to me, but it did. Then there's this cute buff, which is the haste buff you get for hitting the barrels, except it is unbelievably buggy. The only spell as Shadow that gives you the buff, as far as I've been able to see, is Halo. It doesn't matter if you're directly targeting the barrels or not, you do not get the stacks unless Halo hits them. That's the only way you get them. And it's similar for other classes, it does not work very well. So don't worry about it, just ignore its existence. And hopefully you are able to defeat the boss and be more useful than I was, because again, I was hitting the boss instead of the barrels and just cleaving them, which is incorrect. You should not be doing that. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully you learned something, and I will see you in the next video.